Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to Beating the Press podcast. I am your host, Rafa. Now, viewers and subscribers, let me thank you again for tuning in to us here on Beating the Press podcast. Coming up in this evening's podcast, we're going to be previewing the big games coming up this weekend in the EPL, the weekend before we go into the international break. And we have some very exciting match on the agenda. Liverpool takes on Aston Villa at Anfield. And then, of course, we have a big London derby. Chelsea plays host to Arsenal. And also, we have Man City taking on Brighton away from home. And that man, Haaland, he has been on a drought. Who would have thought it? Haaland is on a goal drought. Will he break this drought versus Brighton? So number of interesting matches coming up, but we're going to kick things off over there at Anfield. Liverpool takes on Aston Villa, and this should be a very exciting and entertaining game, I must say. Aston Villa playing some good football. However, they did lose in the Champions League. And of course, that man over there at Liverpool, Slat, he seemed to have the golden touch at this moment, the Midas touch. Anything he touches turn to goal. Luis Diaz coming off a hat-trick midweek versus Bayer Leverkusen, and Liverpool is really on a hot streak. This one should be a tight game, but I can see nothing other than a Liverpool win. Aston Villa, to be honest, they just seem not to be able to keep clean sheets. They have attacking talent on the pitch, the likes of a Watkins, the likes of a Ramsey, the likes of Leon Bailey, if he gets the start, the likes of a Morgan Rogers. So goals are in this Aston Villa team, but defensively, they are just not very good at keeping clean sheets. And even when they are keeping clean sheet, they find a way of giving it away. Typical example was Tyrone Mings in their Champions League game versus Club Bruges. It's the first time I'm seeing that in football, where he just totally lost all, what should I say, football sense, and took the ball up, not realizing that the ball was in play when Martinez passed it to him. So that led to a penalty. And of course, Club Brugge buried that one. A very unfortunate situation, I must say. Tyrone Mings, who have been injured for a very long period, getting a start and not making the best use of it, I would say. So Aston Villa went down 1-0 there, and that has been the case in the Premier League. They have been giving away goals. However, they have been managing to outscore their opponents. But of course, Liverpool this season, they have one of the best defense. In fact, the best defense in the league currently. And of course, up front, it's almost as if all of their attackers are firing. Salah, Gakpo, Diaz, Nunes at times, making those runs in behind. And even the midfield, goals are coming out of the midfield as well. The likes of Curtis Jones, for example, he has been getting on the score sheets. So for me, in front of a vibrant Anfield crowd with an opportunity to be leading the league going into the international break, this should be a 3-pointer for Liverpool. So for me, for this one, I think Aston Villa will get on the score sheet. I think it will be a closely fought game. Emery is a good manager, a very tactical manager. He will not be looking to go into this game and looking to play open football. He's going to come to Anfield with a plan, a tactical plan, possibly a formation change. And he's going to try to hit Liverpool where it hurts the most, possibly playing on the break, possibly trying to take advantage of set pieces, the whole play of Watkins, and of course that man Duran, that secret weapon coming off the bench and really playing a super sub role. So that Slot has to look out for. But I just think Liverpool will overpower this team defensively. Still poor Martinez should be working this weekend. Of course, he's a very solid goalkeeper, and him alone could possibly keep Aston Villa in this game. But I just think Liverpool will have too much for Aston Villa. So in terms of a score prediction, viewers and subscribers, I'm looking at this as a closely fought game, but Liverpool to win this one 2 goals to 1 and maintain their status at the top of the Premier League going into the international break. Then, of course, we turn our attention now to Man City. Man City has been off the boil of late. They are coming off a loss in midweek to Sporting Lisbon over there in Portugal. They're coming off a loss in the EPL to Bournemouth, where they went down away to Bournemouth. They're playing another away game this weekend, this time away to Brighton. And Brighton has been playing some good football, but similar to Aston Villa, Brighton seem not to be able to keep clean sheets, and I think that will be their Achilles heel. It's really hard for me to see Man City really losing 3 on the bounce, in all honesty. Uh, it's a challenge Pep seemed to relish. Man City backs are against the wall currently. And not, more points dropped could open up a gap at the top of the table. And of course, Pep would not want that. And I think Man City needed a motivation, in all honesty. They needed something to work towards. And I think this may have provided that catalyst, the fact that they lost to Bournemouth and the fact that they have lost to Sporting Lisbon. Teams are now seeing somewhat of a chink in the Man City armor. However, I think Pep will relish this moment. I think he will use this as a motivating force for this Man City team, especially that man up front, Haaland. He would have been watching social media. He would have heard the murmurs of his goal drought. He even missed a penalty in that midweek game versus Sporting Lisbon. So he is definitely off form. But I think he has enough quality and the temperament to get back on track. And I think he will get back on track versus this Brighton team. Just when you write him off, he's gonna silence the critic. So I'm expecting a big game from Haaland. And if Haaland gets a big game, then it should be a big game for Man City. But of course, Brighton do have the firepower. Welbeck, João Pedro, Mitoma. Quality is in this Brighton team. And of course, their coach have been doing the business as well. This is his first year in the EPL, but he has been getting some good results. And Brighton are off to a solid start in the EPL. Can they keep this Man City team at bay? I personally don't think so. I think they will give up too many goals to this Man City team. They will trouble Man City. Of course, Man City has not really been keeping an airtight defense. But I think there is too many weapons in this Man City team and they will hurt Brighton. Of course, that man, Kevin De Bruyne, seemed to be getting back to full fitness. He made a very small cameo midweek and he could possibly start in this game. Of course, Man City is dealing with somewhat of an injury crisis as well, but that is no excuse. They have a deep squad and I'm sure whichever 11 Pep sends out there, they will be getting the job done versus this Brighton team. So for me, viewers and subscribers, I'm going to go with a 3-1 victory for Man City in this one. I think they will be a hungry team. They will be a focused team. They will not be looking to go 3 games on the bounce without a victory. In fact, 3 games on the bounce, losing. They've now lost 2 in a row, lost to Bournemouth, last midweek to Sporting Lisbon. If they were to lose to Brighton, it would be 3 on the bounce. I'm not sure if Pep have ever had that during his time at Man City. So this may be a first if that was to happen, but in my football instincts are telling me that's not going to be the case. Man City is going to come out full of pride, full of ambition, and get back on the right footing, keeping the pressure, of course, on Liverpool at the top of the table. So for me, Man City to win 3-1. And then, of course, viewers and subscribers, the big London derby is taking place on Sunday. It is Chelsea versus Arsenal. That is a big mouth-watering matchup. That is a game you cannot afford to miss. This possibly could spell the end of Arsenal's title push so early in the season. This is game week 11. They have already dropped several points, and if they were to lose to Chelsea, it will be very difficult to see their way back from such a point deficit at this stage of the game. So Arsenal has to enter this game as this game cannot be lost. That is the fact of the matter. Arsenal cannot afford to lose this game. It will drain so much confidence from that team. It will sit with the team, especially over the international break. They are coming off a loss to Inter Milan in the Champions League. And of course, Chelsea did the business in the Europa League. So with a changed team. So that Chelsea team should be well rested. Chelsea is at home, viewers and subscribers. That in itself counts for something. Arsenal playing away from home. Arsenal possibly could get back their captain, Odegaard, so he could be a boost for this team. But will his presence be enough? Can Arsenal, for example, stop the likes of a Cole Palmer? We know that wherever Cole Palmer goes, that's where Chelsea will go. Can Arsenal stop Cole Palmer? Can the defense rise to the occasion? Of course, last game week, they lost away to Newcastle 1-0. Chelsea beat Newcastle at home and then lost to them in the Carabao Cup. So if that is anything to go by, for me, viewers and subscribers, I am leaning towards a Chelsea win. At the moment, Arsenal is lacking in creativity. They seem not to be able to score goals. And they seem to be giving up goals. You know, last year they had a very airtight defense. This year, not so much. Saliba is back. Gabriel is back. Their number one centre-back pairing is back in action. Can they galvanize the team? They are, however, missing Rice. I am getting reports that he has sustained a broken toe. And of course, that man, Caicedo, he seemed to be one of the top midfielders in the league currently. He is really running the show over there at Chelsea. He is doing everything defensively, intercepting balls, playing it out from the back, and of course, scoring goals. He had that cracker versus Manchester United in Chelsea's previous game. So he is in top form and looking to take this Chelsea team to the next level. Chelsea are at home in front of their vibrant fans. This is a big London derby. Red versus blue. What more can we ask for, viewers and subscribers? Sunday we'll be kicking back and sipping some tea and watching the action unfolding. Who will come out the victors in this one? This is a mouth-watering game, especially for the neutrals. But for me, viewers and subscribers, I just think this Chelsea team at home has a little bit more than this current Arsenal team. Confidence is lacking in this Arsenal team. They are finding it hard to put the ball in the back of the net. Chelsea isn't the most tight defense, in all honesty. So opportunities might present themselves. Arsenal could possibly get a goal or two. But at the same time, they haven't really been keeping clean sheets. And with the likes of Palmer, Jackson, who is one of the top goal scorers in the league currently, they should have enough firepower in this Chelsea team to get a couple goals past this Arsenal rearguard. So for me, viewers and subscribers, for this big London derby, I'm going to call this game 2-1 for Chelsea. So Chelsea to come away from this game winning 2-1. And of course, that result most definitely will set the cat amongst the pigeon over there at the Emirates. It could spell the end of the Arsenal title push this season, so early in the season as well. This, again, viewers and subscribers, this is game week 11. This is game week 11. But we know how this EPL race has been playing out the last couple of years. If you drop too many points, you could very well lose the league. A famous quote said, after game week 11, you can't win the title, but you can very well lose it. And Arsenal are on the cusp of possibly losing that title. They cannot afford to drop any more points. They have to come away from this game at very least with a draw. At very least, minimum, because with Liverpool on the prowl and with Man City on the prowl, and of course, Man City still haven't hit third gear as yet. Liverpool are possibly in third gear currently. The question is, can they maintain? But City has not hit third gear yet. They are still churning out some results, but their gameplay and some of their results have been indifferent. Liverpool, on the other hand, could not have asked for a better start. Liverpool have lost one game all season, 1-0 to Nottingham Forest at Anfield. That's it. They haven't lost anything else. So to me, Liverpool currently are in third gear. Man City still haven't hit third gear as yet. And of course, Chelsea is on the rise. Chelsea, if they were to get this win, is looking like a top 4 team. The battle might come down to Chelsea versus Aston Villa to get into that 4th spot. But Arsenal need a result. But for me, viewers and subscribers, from what I've been seeing, from what I've been observing, when I look at both camps, when I look at the Arsenal camp, when I look at the Chelsea camp, it is Chelsea to me that seem the more confident of the two teams. It is Chelsea to me who seem to be more fluid, who seem to be creating the chances, who seem to be getting the ball in the back of the net. And I think they will do a good job come Sunday. So again, Chelsea to win, 2-1. And of course, viewers and subscribers, there are a number of other matches on display. We're going to just quickly run through some of the other fixtures and give you our quick fire prediction. Brentford versus Bournemouth. This game has goals. Brentford, they seem not to be able to keep clean sheets, but they seem to be able to score. Bournemouth, I would say they are a bit more defensively organized, and they do have the firepower to also put the ball in the back of the net. I think this is going to be a shootout again. I think Bournemouth may very well get the better of this Brentford team. I think Bournemouth has a bit more quality in front of goal, but I believe it's going to be a multi-goal situation. So for me, I'm going to go with Bournemouth to win 3-2. Bournemouth to win 3-2. Then we also have Crystal Palace versus Fulham. Crystal Palace versus Fulham. Another London derby. These are two London teams. You could say it's a small London derby. The big London derby is definitely Chelsea versus Arsenal, but this is a small London derby. Crystal Palace versus Fulham. This one, viewers and subscribers, both teams struggling to score right now. Fulham, one of the weaker scorers away from home. They haven't had a lot of goals playing away from home. And of course, Crystal Palace is struggling for goals in general. At home, I think they're going to approach this one very defensive. And I don't see many goals in this game. This game could very well play out to be a 0-0 draw. So for me, I'm going to call this one 0-0. But for me, it's going to be a low scoring game, I should say. If there was to be a winner, then it may very well be the odd goal in 1-0 either way. But it's going to be a tight game, but I see this one playing out 0-0. Both teams lacking in firepower. Fulham away from home especially haven't been getting on the score sheet away from home. Crystal Palace in general, having lost Eze to injuries. He is their creative spark. Without him, they are definitely facing a goal deficit. I really don't see where the goals are. The creativity, the creation is probably what is lacking from Crystal Palace. Mateta is there who, given the opportunity, can bury a goal or two, But getting that opportunity is the problem. The creativity is missing. Olise, having gone to Bayern Munich, and now Eze out with a hamstring injury. He should be out for a number of weeks. And in the interim, not much creativity in this Crystal Palace team. So for me, it's going to be a 0-0 draw. West Ham versus Everton. West Ham. What can I say? What can I say? West Ham is one of those teams that has quality on paper, but is failing to produce on the field of play. And that is where the football is played. Everton, I would say, is the opposite. Lacking in quality, but that workman-like mentality, that coaching drive from Sean Dyche is what is currently keeping Everton afloat. So this is going to be a very interesting game, I must say. Of course, I don't believe Everton is going to approach this one in an open way. I think Sean Dyche is going to approach this one very tactical. It will be up to West Ham to take the game to Everton. Of course, the pressure is now piling on Lopetegui over there at West Ham. He has spent big. He has big name players, Bowen, Antonio, Paqueta. The list goes on. Of course, last week, Alvarez picked up a red card, which eventually led to them losing to Nottingham Forest. But West Ham has to be the team to take the game to Everton. Do they have enough to get a win? They probably do. Will Everton resist? Possibly. This is a tight game, viewers and subscribers, to be honest. It's going to be a tight game. And my football instincts is leaning towards a draw. I think this one may very well end 1-1. So for me, I'm going to call this game to end 1-1. But it's going to be very tight. It's going to be very tight. Then, of course, we come to the bottom of the league clash. Wolves versus Southampton, viewers and subscribers. Wolves, we've spoken about them on the podcast before. A team which has faced, you could say, the top 10 teams over the last, I would say, 8 to 9 game weeks. They have really come up against some very strong opponents. Of course, they have gone on to lose those matches or haven't gotten positive results. They did manage to come from behind to beat Brighton a couple of weeks ago. That may have sparked them into life. They now face fellow cellar dwellers, Southampton. Who will win this one? Of course, this game is taking place at the home of Wolves, and I think that will give them the advantage. I think they have good quality. They are playing good football, could improve on their finishing. But against this Southampton team, I think Wolves will get the job done. So for me, I'm going to go with Wolves to win 2-1. Wolves to take this one 2-1. Then we have Manchester United versus Leicester City. That man, Ruud van Nistelrooy, this should be his final game in charge as the interim manager. Of course, the Sporting Lisbon current coach, Amorim, should be taking over at the end of this fixture. He should be coming in and should be there at Manchester United as the teams go on that international break. So he will get an opportunity to bed in and then take charge of his first game after the international break. So Van Nistelrooy, this is his last game as interim manager. And of course, he would want to make a good impression. Earlier in the season, these two teams met in the Carabao Cup, I believe. Of course, Manchester United battered Leicester. And that was that Van Nistelrooy's first game in charge? I believe it may have been. So his first game in charge as interim manager was against Leicester. And his final game in charge as interim manager will be against Leicester also. And I think the result will be the same. There's just too much quality, too much drive, too much purpose, too much new coach bounce, too much giving Van Nistelrooy a sending off on a high note, too much excitement from the Old Trafford faithful in terms of expectancy of what the new coach will bring, and of course, waving bon voyage to Ruud van Nistelrooy. So there's just too much excitement in the air. There's just too much riding on this game. Manchester United will come away comfortable winners over this Leicester team. So for me, I'm going to call this game 3-1. Manchester United to win this one comfortably. 3-1. This should be a routine win for Manchester United. Then we come to Forest versus Newcastle. Forest versus Newcastle. Forest, the surprise package of the season, in my estimation. They are punching above their weight currently. They are full of confidence. They are definitely up there with the big boys. Of course, this one taking place at the home of Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle, who got a big win over Arsenal in their last game. This should be a tough assignment for them. These teams, I would say, are currently evenly matched. Who will come away the victors? Will it be a vibrant, raucous, confident Forest team? Or will it be giant killers? Newcastle. Tight call, viewers and subscribers. Tight call. What says you? Who will win this one? Because this one is very tight. I'm going to back my instincts. I'm going to continue to ride on the Nottingham Forest wave. I believe Nottingham Forest will find a 1-goal advantage over Newcastle. So for me, I'm going to call it for Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest bandwagon to keep going. And I have jumped on it from early in the season. I just think this team is really playing some good team football. And playing at home, I would say, gives them that slight edge, that very slight edge over this Newcastle team. Of course, this is a good Newcastle team. This is a Newcastle team which has quality, a workman-like attitude, and I think they will bring that to this game. It could be a closely fought game, or it will be a closely fought game, and it may just take that odd goal, that moment of magic, possibly from a Gibbs wife, from a Chris Wood, who is full of confidence, one of the league top scorers. In fact, Chris Wood is outscoring the likes of a Manchester United in the EPL single-handedly. He has scored more goals in the league than United at the moment. And he is full of confidence. And Nottingham Forest seem to be playing to his strengths. And I see no different in this game, you know. Espirito Santos is definitely found the magic touch with this team. He has this team really playing some good quality team football. They are tight defensively. I believe they have the second best defense in the league at the moment. And their defense will be a hard nut to crack. Will Newcastle be able to crack it with the likes of Isak, Gordon? Possibly, but I don't really see Forest really coming into this game and playing any sort of expansive football. It would be a workman-like approach to this game. And as I said, it could be the odd set piece, it could be the odd corner, it could be the odd goal from a man such as Chris Wood, a man such as Gibbs White, a man such as Elliott, former Newcastle man. You know, oftentimes players turn up against their former club and really get a goal. Ilanga is due a goal as well. He is due some sort of offensive contribution. Callum Hudson-Odoi, former Chelsea player, could possibly spring a surprise or two, you know, a shot from range, for example. So qualities in the Newcastle team, quality is also in the Nottingham Forest team. But for me, I'm going to lean and back my football instincts. And I'm going to call this one Nottingham Forest to win 1-0. Then, of course, we come to Spurs versus Ipswich. Spurs versus Ipswich. Spurs at home, playing some good football. Ipswich, newly promoted, does have some offense to their game, but definitely struggling to get the results. I can see nothing other than a Spurs win, and I'm looking at a multi-goal situation. I am looking at Spurs to take the game to Ipswich. and come away with this victory. I'm going to call this one 3-0. Spurs is due a clean sheet. They've been struggling to keep clean sheets. Uh, Ipswich isn't the most potent of attacks. And if there was ever an opportunity for Spurs to keep a clean sheet, it's definitely this game. They are in front of their home fans. Son should be back from injury. Johnson is playing out of his skin at the moment. Solanke coming off a big performance in their previous game. I believe Solanke got a brace. So he is full of confidence. So the attack is firing. It's just for them to become a bit more defensively solid. And this could be the game where they finally turn things up from a defensive point of view against a lackluster attack. So this is an opportunity for the likes of Pedro Porro, the likes of Romero to really step up and put in a good defensive performance. So for me, viewers and subscribers, for this one, I'm going to call this one Spurs 3, Ipswich 0. What do you think, viewers and subscribers? Leave your predictions in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Who do you think will come away winners in this game, if there is a winner? And that's about it, viewers and subscribers. Those are the 10 games on the agenda for this week in the EPL. Of course, after this week, the league goes on an international break where we'll be seeing some international football. Some players, of course, will get an opportunity to rest some injuries, rehab some injuries. Others will be called up to represent their teams in the various Nations League, some in terms of World Cup qualifying, for example. So this is an opportunity for us to catch our breath, to kick back, reassess, take a look at what has transpired in what you could say is the first quarter of the EPL. The league is beginning to take shape. We can see the cream rising to the top at this moment in time. Teams are now separating themselves. And we see how the league is shaping. You know, they often say the league doesn't lie. You know, Liverpool sitting at the top of the table, definitely need a win in order to maintain that status. Man City, just a point or two behind, looking to pounce at any error. And of course, Arsenal, the team which should have been the team pushing Man City, the team which have been trusting the process for the last 2-3 years. If they were to lose versus this Chelsea team, can they continue to trust the process? Or will it be time to look elsewhere? Because is Arteta the man to take this team forward? Or is it just going to be a case of next season again? Next season? These are some of the questions that need to be answered come this weekend. Arteta should definitely be feeling the pressure at this point in time. Pep, I think, is the opposite. I think Pep is relishing this opportunity. It's almost as if Pep has said, okay, all right, we'll take this handicap and we'll try to maneuver our way out of this predicament Man City find themselves in terms of possibly facing 3 defeats on the bounce. So to me, Pep, this just acts as a motivation for Pep. He needed something to push him, to drive him. And I think this is the perfect situation for a manager such as Pep and this Man City team in general. Arsenal, on the other hand, need a win. They need to be challenging for the title. In fact, they need to be winning the title because this is their window. I think their window has been the year before last year, and this year. To me, if they fail to win this year, that window closes. I think it will be time you see this team regressing. So this is the window of opportunity. And thus far, they are not rising to the occasion at all. What do you think, viewers and subscribers? Can Arsenal win the title this year after such a lukewarm start to the season? Or will it be Man City again? No one was looking at Liverpool. Everyone was saying Slot needs time to bed in. Liverpool haven't made any signings, etc., etc. Yet they are the team who is leading the way. Yet they are the team who looks the most impervious. Yet they are the team with the best defense in the league. When everyone was not showing any interest in Liverpool. It was Man City versus Arsenal, Master versus Apprentice, Arteta versus Pep. Will Arsenal pip Man City to the title this year? That's what people were looking at. Many persons were saying, yes, granted, the season is still young. It may yet happen. But the signs at the moment are not looking too well, viewers and subscribers. What says you? Who do you think at this point in time will win the league title? Is it Man City again? Or will this year be a new winner? Because Man City will be looking to hit 5 on the bounce. I don't believe that has ever been achieved before. Will they be able to do it? New format of the Champions League as well. Can Arsenal finally break the curse? They are a big team on paper, but they are yet to win a Champions League title in club history. Will Arteta be the man to break that drought? Your guess is as good as mine, viewers and subscribers. Your guess is as good as mine. But viewers and subscribers, I'd just like to thank you again for tuning in to us here on Beating the Press podcast. Thank you for your tremendous support over the period. It is through you that we have had so much success since the inception of this podcast. Of course, please continue to support us by sharing, liking, and of course, if you haven't subscribed as yet, hit that subscription bell. Help us to grow the channel. Help us to reach 500 subscribers by the end of the year. And you can do that by sharing with your friends, sharing with your family. And by doing so, we may get some new subscribers. So thank you again for your tremendous support, and may you continue to support the podcast and the endeavor going forward. But viewers and subscribers, that's all the time we have. That's a look at the EPL action for game week 11. Leave your predictions in the comment section, viewers and subscribers. Tell us what you think. Who will win the big London derby? Will it be Chelsea? Will it be Arsenal? Or will it be a case where both teams approach this one very tactical and this one ends in a stalemate? I will be here to watch it come Sunday. And I look forward to the football action coming up this weekend. But until next time, viewers and subscribers, this is Rafa signing off.